Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. Today's video is how to make a daffodil. Now this is in honor of Daffodil Day, which was sponsored by the Australian Cancer Council, and they sell pins that are shaped like daffodils to fundraise to beat cancer. So I thought it'd be fun to make some accessories to go with that. You can put them on scrapbooks, whatever you like. So that's what this video is about. We're going to start out by making a template for the outside petals. Then I will go straight into assembling the daffodil itself, and right after posting this I'll post another video showing you how to make a daffodil crown, which you could definitely use for a wedding, for a flower girl, whatever you like. Alright, with all of that in mind, let's get to the first part, making the template. All of the materials that you'll need to create the daffodil are listed on my blog. And there's a link below with photos and everything, so you can go and check that out to get the materials. In the meantime, I'm going to assume that you already have the materials assembled, and the first thing we need to do is create the equilateral triangle template, which we'll be using to mark the circles to make the daffodil. Now the technique that we're going to use can be used on any circle to make an equilateral triangle out of the circle. What you're seeing in pink here is the actual size of the daffodil petals and the actual size of the template. This green circle is what I'm going to make the equilateral triangle out of. Now I'm also going to be using a Sharpie to mark the crease marks that I create so that you can see them better through the video. Sometimes it's not very easy to see creases and things on the video. Alright, so the first thing you're going to do is fold it in half. And it does need to be a perfect fold in order to be accurate, so no overlapping anywhere. It's just literally folded in half. And so you can see the crease. There it is. Now you're going to turn it 90 degrees, and you're going to use that crease that you just created to make your next fold. You're going to take this point here at the end of the crease and this point here, line them up, and once again fold in half, making sure not to overlap. Open it up, back up again, and you'll see that I have marked the second crease as well. Now the interesting thing about these two creases is that they intersect at exactly the center of the circle, which is very important for the next step. You're going to take the end of one of the creases and fold it in to meet the middle exactly. Lining up that crease again so that it makes a nice straight line. You're now going to turn your circle slightly, and using the corner that is at the end of this little arc that's been created here, and the place where this other crease intersects the curve, and those 2 points are going to be the ends of your next fold. So all you have to do is fold up, make sure it's accurate on both sides, nice and pointy. And you'll also notice that it comes into the middle once again. Now you've probably guessed what happens next. That's right, the 2 end points of the 2 arcs here are going to be the end of the next crease, the ends of the next crease. Just like that. And once again, that curve comes right up to the center. And that's it, one equilateral triangle. Now you're going to do this fold that I've just done on the nice small circle that's being used for the daffodil, and then you're ready to create the daffodil. Now I'm going to use a Sharpie marker instead of a pencil because I want you to be able to see it, but you'll use a pencil for this so that you can erase the points. So all I'm going to do is take that equilateral triangle, and I'm going to lay it over the top of the circle that I've created, or the circle I'm using for my petals, and I'm going to mark on all 3 corners so that you can see where the corners of the triangle go. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other one as well. Okay, once those marks have made, you can put the template away. Definitely save it for later, because we will be using templates like this in the future. So it's nice to have it all ready, so you don't even have to worry about it. When I say in the future, I mean in future videos. Okay, so you take 2 of those points that you've just marked on your circle, and you're going to fold it up so that those 2 points meet when you fold the circle in half. And again, no overlapping. It does need to be folded exactly in half. And you'll do the same for both of the larger circles. Then you're going to take that 3rd dot that you've created, which is on the opposite side, and you're going to bring it up to meet the point where those 2 points meet. Matching up the curve, again, not overlapping, just matching it up, and you've finished folding your first one. Now you're going to do the same thing again, bring the dot up, match up the curves, just like that. Now again, so that you can see it, I'm going to mark out in pen where I'll be cutting, but you may find that you don't even need to mark it out, or if you do, you'll use a pencil instead of a pen so that you can, again, erase the lines. So essentially you'll notice this looks a little bit like a leaf where I've drawn the pen. I have used a wiggly line, and I've started it, if this is the point, I've started it just about somewhere between 1/4 and 1/3 of the way up that line that's radiating, or the edge that's radiating from that middle point. And then I have gone out a little bit and then back in, and it ends at the top point where this line that you've folded in meets the curve. And just cut it out. Wiggling back and forth to get that curvy line. And then same kind of thing, you're going from that top point where it meets the curve, down and out a little bit, and then back so that you're about 1/4 to 1/3 of the way away from that center point. This allows it to stay stuck together rather than being a whole bunch of different individual petals. There'll be one piece. If you want a smooth edge to your petals, you just don't do the wavy lines, just cut it straight. That's fine. And again, same thing. I'm eyeballing it. You may want to go further in or further out. It is totally up to you. All depends on your preference, how you like it to look. Give it a good try. Try it with scrap paper first if you don't want to waste your colored paper. And there we go. Just open it up. And you'll notice they're similar, not identical, but similar. And I think it's more natural actually to have them similar rather than identical. So you've got 2 of those. Now we're going to have a look at the small circle. And you're going to use that pen again, put it in the middle of the circle, and then wrap the circle evenly around the end of the pen. And working around and around and around, you want to give it some pleats and some bends and basically, the more you distress it and the more you make it look like one of those cupcake holders that you see in fancy cafes, the more natural it will look. So you're just going to pinch it, pinch the edges, and so on until you're happy with the look. And again, it's just around a regular pen. You don't need fancy tools for this job, for this flower. Okay, so there it is. One cute little center to your daffodil. Now we're going to do a little bit of enhancing to these 2 pieces, and then we'll put it all together. So I have a thick piece of foam, otherwise known as a flip-flop. Never been worn. I use this one just for crafting, but you could use a mouse pad or any sort of thick foam for this, or an unused flip-flop if you want. I'm going to use the back end of the Sharpie that I just used to make the marks. Now you could use any rounded edge, any utensil or marker that has a rounded edge like this, because you're actually not using the marker for this, it's just the end of the of the marker. It's just the end of the marker that we're using. So I'm going to place it in the middle of my petals on top of that foam, and I'm going to draw away from the middle with the curved end of the Sharpie, and away from the middle and away from the middle, just like that. I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Marker in the middle, draw away from it, and once again, and once again. What this does is creates a much more natural look to your flower. It's got some veining in it, and it just looks more organic. Now you notice that I keep my glue in the thong part of, you know, where the plastic touches the foam. It's part of the reason I use the flip-flop, but you can do whatever you like. You can use white glues for this. I'm using glossy accents. It all depends on what you've got available to you. Don't need anything fancy, it's just paper. And I do like glossy accents because of the way it dries. It has a nice hard clear look to it, but you can use whatever you've got. Seriously, it's not going to make that much of a difference. And I'm going to rotate the petals just a little bit so that it's in every other petal sort of situation there, you can see, as you can see. And another little drop of glue. And I'm going to place the center of the daffodil in there, and then use my handy pen to just press down to get it to stick. Fantastic. Now I've got some scrap green paper here, and I'm just going to make a couple of little leaves, which are totally optional. You don't have to have leaves if you don't want them. Daffodils have long, skinny green leaves, so this is more of an artistic representation rather than accuracy. They don't have leaves coming out the sides from them. They grow up out of the ground. But if you want a bit of greenery in there, you just put a little bit of glue. Stick it to the back where you think it should go. You can always trim it afterwards as well. And I'll put another on there for artistic license. And there you go. And there you go, one daffodil, just in time for Daffodil Day, and to show your support for all the work that's being done to beat cancer, and a nice little accessory to match the pin. I do have another video coming up for the crown that uses this flower in it, and there will be a link for that at the end of this video, and I hope you go and check it out. Have a great day, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.